information. Texas has tornadoes as well. All right. So let's get started. So today is 84 degrees. I'm definitely in the wrong state if it's that good, that cool in your prospective states. And the funny thing is you're in Michigan thinking it's probably burning up, right? At your 81 degrees, 84 degrees, like it's 81 in New York. You guys probably think it's like super hot there, right? It's like, it's really hot. Who's the perfect day in the 70s? It's that Ann Gutterson lady again. And I'm forever like just jealous of you living in the cool weather in the middle of July. Like, who knew that Massachusetts was the place? I have to go there in the summertime. I've only been in the fall. All right, so let's get started. So you are going to type me if any of this sounds like you. You say you have a niche, but it's something like group travel. And unfortunately, you are still not getting clients with the niche that you believe that you have. Write me. You tell yourself and you tell others, I don't need a niche because I enjoy booking everything and I don't want to miss out on anything, right? Type me if that's you. You know that you should have a niche, but you have no idea how to get a niche. I have people tell me all the time, I don't know how to get a niche. And we're going to talk about, do you really get one? Do you find one? Or do you determine it? Like, what does it mean for getting a niche? So if any of that sounds like you, I want you to type in the comments, me, so I can see if we've got any people that looks like or feels like, right? So I got a couple of me's who are saying, yes, that sounds like me. All right. I had somebody, before I go on, I had somebody post in the group and I told her that I was going to do a Q&A session all around her question. And unfortunately, she didn't get a lot of responses. And I wondered, maybe people didn't see it, or maybe they didn't know what to reply. But her question was pretty simple. It was, what kind of travel niches do people have? And it was by Lisa. Clemens, I think is her last name. But she's in our group and she posted that several weeks ago. And she said, yeah, what are people's niches? And nobody replied. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to do an entire training just around that. And so Rhonda says that her niche is family and family groups, right? People tell me all the time that their niche is group travel, right? They know that group travel, you can make some money. And so they decided, they went and found themselves a niche and they said group travel is it, right? But I'm going to talk to you today around why you may need to go a little bit deeper. So, but what I will tell you is if you are answering me, and, this is not, I always do these sort of questions at the beginning, not to try and make you feel bad, but really just to give you a little bit more insight relative to either launching or operating your business. And one of the insights that it tells me, if you answered me, is that there's something about your business model that probably has you running in circles, right? Because you don't have a niche. You have a niche, or you think you have a niche, and it's very broad, right? And you still are not getting that goal that you want, which is to get more clients, right? To attract more of your ideal clients, right? So I've got, some people putting in, Sandra is in our class. And so she has put her perfect niche, right? So she has put destination weddings in the Caribbean and Mexico. So we are actually working on niche right now and narrowing that down inside of Travel Passions to Profits. But listen, I don't want you to get me wrong. I don't want you to think that, you can't make sales because you've got this broad niche or you've got this, some area of the travel business locked down. You can probably make some sales. I don't want to get you. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say you'll never make a sale. You'll make some sales, right? But here's the thing. It's not efficient, right? You're not going to efficiently and consistently make sales if you're broad, right? If you're not focused on that particular part of the industry, whatever that may be. But we're going to talk about that in just a little bit, right? So again, I'm not saying that you can't make money being broad and being, general. You can, right? I'm just saying it's not efficient, and nor can you do it consistently, right? And, you can come in my inbox and you can tell me, well, no, I'm making sales. I'm consistently making sales, right? But then I would argue it's not efficient, right? And I'm going to tell you why it's not efficient. So today, what we are going to talk about is how you can take my 3 recipe list items for creating and determining a niche for your travel business. Okay, but before we get started, I want to talk about, why do you even need a niche, right? Some of you will say, I don't need a niche, or maybe I do need a niche. So write in the comments why you think you need a niche. Just give me your thoughts. I'd like to get your guys' feeling as to why you believe you need a niche. If you are in the camp niche, because there are some people who are not camp niche. Some people are camp general, right? I'm not talking to camp generals today. I'm talking to people who think they need a niche. Why is it that you think you need a niche? All right, somebody, reading all of your comments. So I've got somebody who says that they do mainly weddings and couples, family vacations. Sandra, she does destination weddings. And Elizabeth says that she is new and has not started taking clients at all, but she wants to do family vacations and leisure luxury, right? All right. So some people are saying that the reason why you need a niche is so you won't be all over the place, right? That's good. Too much to learn if you don't focus on one type of travel. That's great. That's right. It makes it easier for people to pick you, and to make it easier by being focused, right? Target marketing and sales, right? So that is exactly right. There is only one reason to pick a niche. And the key word, I want you guys to write this, is focus. That's it. Focus. The only reason to get a niche and be very specific about your niche is focus. And so what do I mean by that? Money loves specificity. I always have a hard time saying that word, but money loves specificity, right? The more specific that you can be, the more that you can determine who your suppliers are. The more you can determine who your clients are. The more you can determine what your business is and what it is and the boundaries that you are going to operate in, right? So the more specific that you can be in your travel business, the more focus that you can do everything. The more you can focus your dollars, the more you can focus your training, the more you can focus on what to say to your clients, right? A niche equals focus. I like you guys to write that. Focus. That is the only reason to get a niche, right? Because that focus will get you more money, right? That focus will get you specific training. That focus will allow you to win awards. That focus will allow you to, become the top seller in, for that supplier, because you're only working with that supplier, right? As opposed to working with 15 different suppliers and you're all over the place, right? Focus. That is the reason why you get a travel niche, is so that you can be focused in all of the things that are your travel business. All right, so hold on. My computer is acting a little squirrely and I cannot see your comments anymore. All right, so somebody wrote single moms and dads traveling in groups. Love it. Love it. Love it. That's very specific. Okay, so does that make sense, everybody, what I'm talking about? That you can get the focus if you have a specific area of what it is that you are doing in your business. But still, I have people who will tell me that they have a niche and it's still not very specific, right? So I wish I could see who just posted that single moms and dads traveling group. Let me see if Venice Addison, that is very specific, right? I love that because it tells me who she's working with, right? It tells me, who her audience is. It tells me, I don't know what kind of travel, but I at least know the who of who she's working with. So let's talk about the 3 items in my recipe that we're going to do about, determining your niche. I don't kind of feel like you get a niche. I feel like you determine it, right? And it's going to be based on these recipe items. All right. So the type number 1, right? The number 1 recipe that you need in determining your niche for your travel is you, right? And what do I mean by that? I mean, what do you like? What are you interested in? What do you want to focus on? What are you good at? What do you like to do? What are your interests? Everything around your niche shouldn't be around anybody but you and what you like, right? What do you like to do? What are you interested in? What is something that you've done before, right? What are you passionate about? That's what your niche should be around. It shouldn't be around something that you think will make you money and you don't really have a passion for it. Because what's going to happen is when you talk about it, it's going to resonate that that's not your passion, right? Group travel, right? I mean, so, and I'm picking on poor group travel, right? Because that's what I'm probably, 80% of the people that I talk to tell me when I ask them if they have a niche, they tell me that they're going to do family travel or group travel. Those are like the two top number one niches that people tell me, right? But that doesn't really tell me anything, right? Does it tell you anything? Does it tell you? I mean, group travel is just the type of travel. It just means that you've got many people versus less people, right? That doesn't tell you what your passion is. It doesn't tell you what you're interested in, right? That doesn't tell you anything, right? So number one recipe for a good niche is to determine what the interests are around that thing that you want to do, right? Single moms and single dads, right? That's interest, right? Those are parents that are raising their children by themselves. That's an interest point, right? Destination weddings, that's an interest point, right? So there's a group component to that. There's a fit component to that, but it's really specific, right? So the recipe number one item that you need to include in the determination of your niche is you. What are you interested in? What do you want to learn about, right? Even if you may have not ever done it, what is it something that you want to learn about or know about in terms of that area, right? I had a list of 50 items that were good niche areas, right? And some of the things that are really popular right now in the last several years is like wellness travel, right? And people, I don't hear a lot of travel, at least in the people that then I don't hear a lot of people talk to me about wellness travel, but it really is an up and coming niche area, right? Because particularly this generation of people, right, are interested in their health. They're interested in staying fit, both internally and externally, right? So the industry is really taking notice to that. I even saw this year that there was a cruise ship. I can't remember what line it is, but a cruise ship that is going to be all wellness focused, right? Vegan food. I can't even remember the name of the ship or what cruise line it was. And this is pre-COVID, right? But the whole idea is that's an interest area that people care about, right? And that people, I'm not necessarily vegan, but that's interest to people, right? So you is the number one component in determining your niche, your interest, your thing, the thing that you're passionate about. And if you don't know your passions, what do you want to become passionate about, right? Or what is it that you want to know about, right? That's something that you can consider. So you is the number one component in the recipe for a niche. The number two component, right? Type number two is need. What do people need, right? And it's not general travel. It's something specific about travel that they need, or specific about like wellness, right? People want to feel better. They want to feel healthier, right? They want to take time for mind, body, and spirit, right? And travel certainly is a means by which but a trip or a focal point in that area that's around that space and that need creates, there are people who are looking for that specific type of experience. So the number two recipe item for a niche is the need. What is the need that you will be fulfilling, need or desire that you will be fulfilling with this particular niche, right? Destination wedding. What is the need there, right? It's people who want to get married, but in an untraditional way, right? That's the need, right? Single parents group, right? What's the need there? Either to travel economically or even though they are just one, be able to have their children experience what normally people of two incomes can do, right? That's the need, right? What is the need that your niche is going to fulfill, right? So that's number two. That sometimes is hard for travel agents to wrap their head around because they think of themselves as travel fulfillers, right? Let me rephrase that. Travel order takers. And that's not what you are. I don't want you to think of yourself as an order taker. You're not an order taker. Expedia, these online booking engines, they take orders, right? You put in your requirements, boom, they spit out a result. That is not what we do, right? That is not what you travel professionals do, is take orders and fulfill them based on that. You create experiences. You fulfill need, right? You fulfill desire, right? And if you don't know what that need or desire is, then you need to step back and you need to focus on that. What is the need or the desire that I'm fulfilling in the niche that I am determining for my business? If you don't know that, that is what I want you to focus on is you, what do you like? What are you passionate about? And two, what are you fulfilling? And what is the hole that you are filling with your travel business? All right. So somebody says that I have a niche, but need to strategize how to materialize the marketing. Okay. What's your niche? Let's talk about it, right? I'm going to have an open Q&A at the end of this, but what's your niche? So tell me what your niche is and we can talk about how you can market it, right? All right, so let's go to number 3. Let me know if you guys are ready for number 3. Type in 3. All right. I don't know that I see some 3s. Are you guys not ready? All right. All right, I see some 3s now. Okay, so the little bit of delay, them, type them. It's them. So what I mean by them, it's your clients, right? Is who will you be servicing, right? So you know what you like, right? You know what need you will fulfill and who is the person that you want to work with, right? What is that person? What are the characteristics about those people? What do they look like? What do they feel like? You know, what are they feeling? What are they thinking about? Who is the person, right? You need to know who the them is that you're going to be working with. You need to know who that is, right? So I have some people who tell me it's families. Well, what kind of families? Is it single families? Is it, 2-parent families? Is it single parents? Is it, people who are empty nesters? Is it retired parents? Right? Who do you want to work with? Don't tell me everybody, right? Because what does money love? Money loves specificity. I really have to practice saying that word. But money loves specificity, right? So the more specific that you can get, the more money you can get yourself, right? So again, who is your client? Simple as that, right? You know what you like. You know what you want. You determine that there's a need and people need it or want it, right? And then you know who it is that you're going to work with, right? If you've got those 3 things, right, around your niche, you have the recipe for a good niche that will allow you to do what? Focus, right? Focus on getting your suppliers, focus on getting training around those suppliers, a select few suppliers. It'll allow you to focus around your business vision. It will allow you to focus around everything that is your travel business. 3 things, simple. This is not going to be a long session today, right? Because I had 3 little hot topics. So I'm going to just say this before I open it up for Q&A, is many of you think that you have a niche, but it doesn't have those 3 recipe components. And if it doesn't, you're going to continue to struggle with speaking and connecting to your prospective client when you do your marketing. You're going to have trouble with really understanding who your client is, so that when you do meet with them and you do discovery calls with them and you do talk to them, right, being able to connect to them and provide them solutions in the unique way that you need to, right? If you don't have that recipe, if you don't have passion for what you do, right, you're just going to go through you're going to go through the motions. And prospective customers can smell, right, your fear. They can smell your lack of passion for what it is that you do, because most of you are probably good salespeople and can't keep all that in, right? So if you're not passionate about your doing, you're not lit up, and you're not excited, right, about the thing it is that you're doing, right, you're probably giving off that vibe, right? So it's critical: passion, need, and them, right? Who's your client? What is it? What is their problem or solution or thing that they want? And what is it that you love to do? Those are the 3 recipes for success, right? 3 recipes for a great niche. So I'm going to open it up, and I know there's a little bit of a lag. So just what I want to know is, do you have a niche now that do you feel like your niche meets those 3 criteria? If so, type yes. If not, say, I'm going to work on it, right? Tell me that you're going to work on it. All right, I'm going to leave a lag. And then somebody asked a question in the chat. So let me answer. Let me look what it is, and then I'll answer it. Okay, so Carmelita says that what if you don't have a niche per se? I like too many things, and that is what gets me, right? So I just gave you the recipe, right? You like too many things. Write them all down that you like. What are all the things that you like? And then identify what are the needs that you potentially can fulfill in those areas, right? So again, all 3 recipes. If you can like a lot of things, but maybe not everybody has a need for them or is wants it or wants to have it, or maybe they do, right? And then you just prioritize those things that you want to work on first, but make a commitment 12 to 18 months that if you are going to do, fill in the blank, you're going to commit to learning about that over the next 12 to 18 months, because that is all that you should be speaking about. All right, so let's see. Erica says that her niche is all-inclusive resorts. Does that fit the 3 recipe items? Right? Is that something you're passionate about? All-inclusive. What about that? What is the need or solution that it's fulfilling? And who is your client? Right? Those are the 3 recipe items. Going to work on refining my niche. All right, great. And Elizabeth said that she needs to take hers more specific. She has family, leisure, luxury, right? So that's leisure, luxury. That's very, very broad, right? Leisure, luxury, what, right? What does that really mean? I think that's probably the 3rd most common thing that someone tells me is that I want to do ultra luxury. I want to do luxury. And I always say what, right? Who's your customer? Who are you trying to go after? You're going to try to go after doctors? Are you trying to go after lawyers? Are you trying to go after, moms who are married to lawyers, right? Not moms, or women who are married to lawyers, right? Who's your audience? Who is the person that you're trying to talk to? So right now in Travel Passions to Profits, the program that we're running right now, this is the first thing we work on in that program is we work on the identification of your niche and your micro niche, right? Who is the person that you want to work with every single day in your travel business, right? Who's your ideal client, that dream client? What are their characteristics? And what is the need that you're going to be fulfilling for them, right? So somebody writes that I want to do Disney and Florida vacations is my niche. Okay. Disney, you don't really need to say more. If Disney is your thing, then by golly, Disney is your thing. But I would still argue, like, who's your client? Are you going after parents with kids, or are you doing adult Disney, right? Because there's a whole genre of adult Disney people versus family Disney, right? So I still want you to figure out who you're who. The recipe is clear, right? And the reason I wrote the recipe that way is because if you have those 3 components defined, I'm telling you, you got it golden. You know who you're talking to, you know what the need or what the want is, and you know what your passion is, right? Or the thing or the interest area for you. And if you can't fill those 3 items if your niche can't pass that 3 item smell test, then you need to do some more work. All right. So Lisa Hatfield Clement is the one who did the post several weeks ago. So welcome, Lisa. You're the one who did the post several weeks ago about, what are people's niche? And I was saying at the beginning of this that you posted that in the group and people didn't give you a lot of response. So I wanted to talk about that today. So Lisa, catch the replay on the top of this. Right now we're in Q&A, but I thought of you, I didn't forget about you. I wanted to answer your question and make sure that I address, the importance of doing a travel niche. All right, so we've got some more questions here. Cruises, mostly individual, but want to move into group cruises. Okay, cruises is huge. Cruises is a huge industry. Now you do have, middle of the road cruises, luxury cruises, river cruises, ocean cruises. You've got, cruises with specialty areas, right? Again, cruising is a big, big, big part of the industry. Cruises in and of itself to me is not narrow enough, right? Excuse me. For example, I would rather you tell me that you want to specialize, like you love wine and you want to do wine tours, right? And you want to have a wine cruise tour, right? That would tell me that you're probably going to do river cruises, probably do a lot in international Europe, right? Europe space, because there's a bunch of different river cruises that travel up European rivers. I mean, I don't know all the river names, but they do river, they go to castles, and they do wine tours, they go to vineyards, they do all that, right? That's very specific, right? There's a specific audience there, right? That's an interest, that's an audience, right? And that is a need, right? People who love wine, right? They want to go on tours, and they want to go to vineyards, and they want to taste wine, because that's what wine lovers do, right? Right? Do you see the difference between telling me that you like cruising, right, versus I want to do wine tours, in international wine touring, right, for river cruises, right? That's different, right? Does that make sense? Are you guys getting what I'm saying here? All right. Yeah, Larissa says there's a whole segment of adult Disney clients, right? That's totally different than and they're literally adults who love, love and live by Disney, right? And they don't have children, and they go to Disney, and they've gone to every Disney theme park that there is, and they just want to go travel to all of them, all United States and internationally, right? And do the cruise line, right? So if you tell me Disney, I mean, you pick the interest, right? Again, I would just say the who. Who's the who that you want to work with, right? And the need is Disney. I mean, there's no more need when it comes to Disney. I think I'm like the only person in the world who has no desire to be associated with Disney. Now, I love Disney movies, but I'm not really into Disney. I'm not into theme parks at all. Yeah, Larissa, can you tell I'm always plugging the river cruises. I really, as soon as we can travel, I am so on Uniworld's cruise. I am doing that. And I like liquor, so I am doing. They have and I always forget who it is, but they have it's not a liquor tour, but it's a wine tour, and they go and visit the distillery, one of the distilleries that's in France, and they go all up and down. I don't know what river they go up and down, but it's amazing. I mean, and it's just an entire. It's not a liquor tour, but it's a wine tour. But I say liquor because they go to several different liquor distilleries. That are made out of France. It's amazing. I mean, it's an amazing ride. So somebody asked, I'm just following the questions. I decided to, Vanessa, she's the one who's a single moms and dads. She says, I decided to do single moms and dads traveling in groups because that's where I focus more. And there definitely is a need. Yes, I have one of our students inside of Travel Passions to Profits. She is doing single parents travel, right? So her focus is on single parents that travel, and she's got an entire group focused on that, and that's what she's doing. So there's definitely a need in that. And when we were talking about her niche, one of the things that we both agreed is single dads usually don't get called out, right? So calling out single dads, I think, is a really good idea. I've got another member, Michael, and he was talking about doing his niche on father and son getaways, right? And there's a huge. I just think men in general are highly untapped, right? Because usually it's women who do the planning if it's a couple or are the planners in the situation. But men are traveling, and they are traveling with kids. There are single parent dads, and so I do think as travel professionals, focusing on the man's space, if that's your thing or interest, is a great area to do, because I do think that I don't see a lot of it. Maybe you do, but I haven't seen a lot of focus on the man space. So. The more we can focus, the more you can find an area that is not necessarily undiscovered, because I don't want you to be the first of anything, but the more that you can focus or find an area or a body of people, an audience of people that are not usually called out or addressed, that's very specific, right? Again, money loves specificity. And so the more you can do that, the more successful that you will do. Because think, if I'm talking to a dad who has girls, right? How do you make you as a dad, how are you connecting with your girls, right? It may be difficult for a man to think about them as a single parent doing that and still traveling, right? How do they, create amazing experiences for their girl children, their boy children? It doesn't matter. But, I could talk specifically to that dad, right? And their concerns are probably different or not even the same as what we as women would think of, right? So again, the more specific that you can get with your client choice, the better off you're going to be. All right. Yeah, dads are very much overlooked. Okay, so let's see. Somebody says, I think my niche are parents and getaways. I like that. Getaway where? What kind of parents? And you don't have to pick kind of parents, but again, I think that single parents have unique, different needs and challenges than dual parents, right? Or maybe the challenge is just their kids, because particularly during COVID, dealing with your kids is a big deal. All right. Yeah, Larissa, I do like the higher commission rate with river cruises. Can you guys tell? If I didn't welcome the newbies, and so let me do that now. If you are new to this channel and this is your first time joining me live, I am just super excited that you are here. Thank you for joining me live. I come here every Wednesday night to talk to you about a topic on launching, marketing, or operating your travel business. So this is for future, existing, and new travel professionals who've decided to make that jump. So I'm glad that you are here. But what you will find is that I love river cruises and I've never been on one. So I am so waiting for us to open back up so that I can book my first river cruise. I guess I should book it now, but I haven't decided which one I'm going to go on. I have talked to a couple of the travel suppliers in that space, but I love, love, love the idea of river cruises. I love cruising, but river cruises are, it's just a step down a huge step down in terms of size of ship. And your ability to go, and stop in the towns and get close up to the towns is a whole lot better than in the big ocean liners. So that's definitely my next area of exploration. So somebody says, hold on, I'm missing the particulars of this. So hold on. So I love StreamYard, which is how I stream live to you guys. But the problem is if you guys haven't registered your name, I am not able to see who's talking. So I like to always address the person who's speaking. So give me a second. So I always have to look down to see who made the comment. Elizabeth, okay, so you said you're a newbie and you're normally on Zoom on Wednesday. So I'm glad to have you. So thank you for being with us every Wednesday. Absolutely, Judy, glad to have you. Super glad that you are here. Crystal, I believe that you're new. So glad to have you here. Carmelita, I'm glad to have you guys here. Ishantali says that she needs to work on her niche. And you know what? This is the deal. This is the time, right? We are in an unprecedented time in the travel industry right now, right? Things are, people are, and I dare not say people are not traveling because people are traveling, right? So people are traveling, right? But it's still pretty scary for a lot of us who are not traveling, right? So as a travel professional, I will not bash you if you decide to book during this time. If, get your coins however you feel, just as long as you've got you've got insurance and you've got strong terms and conditions, right? If you're booking travel during this time, I say go for it, right? As long as you've got yourself covered from a risk perspective in your business. Now, for those who are not booking travel right now because you are waiting to see, from a health perspective that things settle down and you're booking in 2021, right? And you're not booking now. This time, no matter what year, is the time to be preparing for the flood that will eventually come. So for those of you who are preparing now, right? So this is sort of the time, if you ever remember that story as a kid, the hen that, she got the rice, she got the wheat, she got all the materials, and all her friends were sitting around and she's baking bread and nobody wanted to help her bake the bread, right? And then when she made the bread, everybody came around because that's the way it's going to be in the travel industry, right? I don't want to hear you talking to me, 6 months, 8 months, 12 months from now and be like, I'm not making clients and you've been in this group for 12 months, right? I don't want to hear you a year from now saying you're in the same space that you are today because you didn't take action. The action now is if you don't have a niche, every week I'm coming in here giving you tidbits and things that you can be working on in your travel business. If you don't have a niche that's narrow and specific, right? So you can, that money, that love specificity is attracted to you because you are specific and you're not specific. I say shame on you, right? You should be doing the work now so that you can handle all of the work that's going to be coming your way. Those travel businesses that are working on the foundation of their business, they're attracting clients now, they're attracting leads into their business now, they're nurturing that relationship. When COVID's not an issue, right? Passports start to release and people can start to travel, and hopefully we have a new president, right? Again, I shouldn't have said that, but hopefully we have a new president, right? And things get back to the way they were. I don't think they ever will get back to the way they were, but at least travel will be open, right? And if travel is open, that means that you are busy, right? And so it's not just COVID is the reason why you don't have business, right? I don't want you to be mistaken by that. I don't know everybody's personal story, but 90% of the people who don't have an attraction system, the reason why you don't have business is not because of COVID and people aren't traveling. It's because you don't have systems in place. You don't have a marketing strategy. You don't have a niche. You're all over the place in your business. You don't have focus, right? Those are the reasons why. And you can work on that now. That's COVID independent, right? You can work on your business, make it stronger now. So when the floodgates open, you're ready, right? That's what I want. I want to have a bunch of prepared, ready people who are taking stuff, taking bookings when the bookings start to happen, right? All right. So let me make sure I'm not missing anything. All right. So looking at ancient old cities for the architectural paranormal. Did you say paranormal? That would be cool. And luxury cruises on smaller ships. I like the paranormal aspect of it. I'm a ghost watcher. All right, so let me scroll down, make sure I haven't missed anything. I'm a passport acceptance agent, and they are taking a couple of months right now. And that is an understatement. They are taking a very, very, very long time. And the sad part is my sons actually need passports that expire at the end of the year. And I'm just afraid to go and submit all of their stuff, and then their birth certificates and everything get lost. Close to new normal, back to old normal. I agree with you. I mean, I'm here to tell you the travel industry is not dead. The travel industry has a hiccup. I think that the cruise lines have a lot of work to do to gain our trust again when it comes to health. I think they did a poor job in the response to COVID, right? So if you specialized in cruising like I did, I would recommend that you potentially look at maybe all-inclusives or something until the cruise industry proves themselves, because I think they do have a lot of proving. I think that they did just a horrible job in the response to COVID. That's just the reality. I don't think they did a good job. But from a supplier perspective, again, this is why you need to understand what your niche is, right? So if you know that your thing is cruising, right, are you just relying solely on cruising as your type of travel going forward, right? Do you have a backup plan in the event that cruising doesn't open up as quickly as the resorts are, right? Because resorts are opening up and people are going and they're traveling and they're documenting their experiences and talking about how well things are on the resort and how safe they feel in the resort, right? So I feel like resorts are going to open up sooner than cruising will open up, just because I think the cruising industry has a huge hill in terms of trust to overcome. But, what are you doing if your specialty of cruise travel type was cruises? You have a backup plan. What are you doing in that space now, right? So what is my opinion on domestic travel for niche? I think that the United States has an amazing amount of places to visit. And I think that, me as an American, I see people post like, how many states have you been to? And I've been to a lot of states, but I haven't been to all of them. And I haven't seen all of the amazing places that are in America. And there is cruising in America. There is a cruise line. If you don't know like the whole background on cruises, most of the cruise industries, cruises headquarters are not American. There is one cruise line that is American based that does river cruises in the United States. It does the Mississippi and I don't know what other river that they do, but they have smaller ships. And I think that's a great idea. I think domestic travel is a great area to explore. There's actually a travel supply company that I met at last year's DFW Travel convention, and that's all they specialize in is U.S. travel. I'll have to look that up, Larissa. And when I find it, I'll post it and I'll tag you on it. But that supplier, that is all they focus on is U.S. travel. And I thought that was amazing, that it's destinations in the United States that are, just beautiful. There are really a lot of amazing locations and destinations in the United States. And I think as travel professionals, it's our duty to provide those options, right? Particularly since international options are not as not available as they used to be, right? Europe doesn't even want us to come in their countries. So again, I think if you want to be successful, you need to be adaptable. That is period, end of story. And that's COVID aside. Your ability to adapt to what is going on currently in whatever situation that you have will be the difference between you being successful and you falling flat on your face, right? So the more that you can adapt to whatever changes in your environment occur, the more chameleon that you can adopt, the more that you can adopt and change based on circumstances, the better your business can be. So to Larissa's point, Larissa specializes in St. Lucia. She is the St. Lucia chick, right? When last year, on her page, that's all like you'd like be daft if you didn't know that Larissa was St. Lucia, right? That is her shtick. That is her thing, right? So that may not be everyone's comfort level right now. So I think domestically is definitely the way to go now, right? Because people can drive and you can still get those reservations on the resort side. Again, you need to be adaptable, right? You need to be fluid and you need to be able to move in that environment. Just because you've always done the Caribbean doesn't mean that you can't. American Cruise Line, that is it. That is the name of the American Cruise Line. And, those dudes aren't saying nothing. You didn't hear nothing about COVID. Not to say they didn't have COVID. They were not in the news like the big ocean liners were. But they only do the United States. They do the East Coast. I don't know if they do the West Coast, but I know for sure that they're up and down the East Coast. And I do know that they do the Mississippi. Amtrak vacation, somebody posted, a great idea, right? Because your cart's separate, right? You got your own separate cart. I know that you got a common dining area. But again, be creative in your travel options. And you can still specialize in that, right? If you do wine tours and that's your thing, right? California is the place. But hell, the reality is, I'm in Texas, and Texas has got vineyards, right? One of the things that I meant to say last week that I forgot to say is that, when you're thinking about locations to travel, don't forget about your hometown, right? Your hometown has probably got some amazing places to go, and people can come to your hometown and travel. Again, Florida, Texas, my country, my state, has got high COVID cases, right? Again, I'm talking once COVID settles down and people feel comfortable around traveling at the high volume that we were traveling before. Think locally, right? What local events, what local scenery and local area attractions do you have that you can create packages or interest around as well? So don't always think international. Think locally, think domestically, right? And then you can also think internationally. All right, ladies and gentlemen, because I cannot just say ladies anymore because we have some gentlemen in the group now. So I will not just say ladies anymore. So ladies and gents, if you don't have any more questions, that's all I got for you today. So how many of you people out there are ready to dive into getting your niche all worked up? Because what I would love to see over the next couple of days is you guys getting some niches that are really defined, right? Really clear about that, right? So that's good. So just tell me yes if you're ready to get your niche, or you have your niche and you're ready to take it to the next level. Let me know yes. Okay. All right. Somebody says they do hotel and resort hotel vacations. I think that's great. Again, I'm ready. Good. Love to see that. Love to see that. That's great. All right. So for those who are new to me, again, I thank you. For those who are old to me, I thank you for joining me this Wednesday night. I will be here next Wednesday night, as I am every Wednesday night, and I will be talking about a topic relative to launching marketing or operating your travel business so that you guys can be successful travel business owners and entrepreneurs. With that, have a great weekend, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.